Yo,
Hey,
hey, yo,
welcome.
thank you.
It's the
This
show.
is my show.
It's your
Yeah,
show. You're the host,
I'm the
man.
host. I'm the host. Yeah,
You are
but you can welcome me. Welcome your host,
Static P.
Ryan A. G. B. The Static P. Seawald. We have to do it in German.
Z
Sounds better.
World.
Um, hey guys, I'm the show of the host. I'm the host of the show, not the show of the
You're the
host.
show of the
Welcome to Don't
host,
Worry Wednesday.
man.
I am the show of the host. SeaWorld. Yeah, no, that's not it. Um, welcome to Don't Worry Wednesday. This is the show that's about you guys and your worries, your topics, whatever struggles, and just different events in life that you're going through and you want us to talk about. You were so close. You were so close. It's just a couple, 2 letters off. That's it. Well, three actually, because you spelled C-S-E-A. So 3 letters off. The rest of them you got right. Which I
Close
guess in
enough.
the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Sea
Yeah, well,
Walrus. What?
yeah, the sea walrus. That's
Oh
that's
my.
that's the, I've never been called that one. When I was growing up, well, SeaWorld was pretty common, but never sea walrus. I would have appreciated that one a lot more. That would have been pretty awesome. What's up, sea walrus? Be like, hey, buddy, you know me.
But are you
All my
down with
walrus
OPP?
traits. Whoa.
No
No
one knows.
peepees,
No
Joe.
one
No
knows what I'm
peepees.
talking about.
No poopies. This is Don't Worry Wednesday. DWW, not OPP. And this is we aren't professional psychologists or comedians. So but everything we say or do is for
Clearly.
entertainment value only. Don't sue us if you try something and it doesn't work. No, we're here to walk along. We're here to walk along the road with you in this path, this journey of life, because it can be difficult at times to go the road alone. And that's why we don't. We have friends, we have people we can accompany, and we want to just share our own experiences, share our own perspectives, or whatever we can do to help. And a lot of times, you guys know how to solve your own problems, but having just a little bit of encouragement or an extra perspective can go a long way. So that's what we're here to help and provide, and also just to be your friend. Thank you guys for being here. You guys are awesome. If you want to submit a topic to us, that'd be greatly appreciated. We're getting slightly lower on topics, mainly because the topics that we have, those people aren't here with us a lot of
Mm-hmm.
times.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have any topics for us, please submit one at don'tworrywednesday.com.
Yes.
Don'tworrywednesday.com. No apostrophe in that title.
And no
Simple enough.
commas.
No commas. No, it's not Don't Worry Wednesday, .com. It's just don'tworrywednesday.com. Where would you put a comma?
I don't know.
Well, there isn't one. Doesn't matter where you'd put one. There isn't one.
Don't worry, Wednesday.
Oh, Wednesday is. Oh, like it's a name. Like Wednesday from the Andy Adams family. Wow, Adams family. Oh yeah. Thanks, Meowing Views. Yeah, we've got quite the contrast here.
Mm-hmm.
Light and dark
We
colors.
did that on purpose.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But we both got plants. Well, I have plants. You have mushrooms. So,
Yes.
yep. And you've got light colors. I've got dark colors. Clothes. That's pretty great.
That's
Nice.
yes. Yes, we are
Yeah.
contrasting.
Yeah. Comments to the costume department.
But
That's
you
great.
don't see what kind of pants I'm wearing.
Yeah, and you don't see what kind of pants I'm wearing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Ryan has a halo.
Ryan
That's
has a
absolutely
halo.
true.
That would be great. That would be great if that were true. Yeah.
He's such a holy person.
I wish. I hope
Mm-hmm. someday.
I hope someday.
Man. Ryan's the holy person. I'm the mean guy.
That's and mean by these standards on Don't Worry Wednesday means you're just nice. Y'all wearing jeans? I
Nope.
wear jeans almost 24/7, but right now I'm actually wearing sweatpants because the bed was cold. And it's cold in Australia. Well, sort of. It's warming up in Australia now. So that's nice. Yeah, Joe, you are great.
You
I
are.
agree. Yeah, you are.
You
Don't
are.
say. You're great.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what now?
Oh, oh.
Oh, oh,
You thought you could
burn.
pull one up.
Got you. Who's great now? Oh.
Oh.
All right. You
Oh my
are.
goodness.
Okay, anyways.
My mic is hot, man. It's hot.
Oh, yeah, it is. Well,
Mm.
has to be. Capture your fullness and all of the heat you bring.
Ooh.
Because you're so hot.
Well,
So welcome to Don't Worry Wednesday. Once again, thank you for joining us. We love it here. We love this show. We love being with you guys, most especially. You guys are awesome to be around and just hang out with. And I wish I had more time to do so throughout the week. Just been so busy the last long time. I know that Joe was hanging out with you guys most recently in the Static P Friends, and I heard that that was pretty fun. So, way to
I
go, Joe.
was.
You're awesome. Yeah, apparently something about prawns, and then I let them loose. Were you that there for that? Maybe
What?
you weren't there for that. I don't know. I was told by cats that I let loose all the prawns
Oh, the
or something like that.
prawns. I thought you said
Oh,
bronze. I was like, yeah, I am a
oh,
bronze 5.
yeah. Prawns, aka crawdads. The crawfish. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, what's a crawdad compared to a crawfish?
It's the father of a crawfish. It's a
Oh,
crawdad.
nice. Craw mom. I never heard of a craw mom or
Me neither.
craw mother. Hmm. I heard of a crawl space. It's
That's
space where all
crawfish
the
in
crawls
outer
go.
space.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. It's just like a space heater. It's
Mm-hmm.
like they don't work very well because outer space is still plenty cold. But that's what they're made for, space heaters. They're for
Mm.
space.
They heat up
Mm-hmm.
space.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just not very efficiently.
It's like what my mic does because it's so hot.
Yeah. Is it actually physically hot to touch?
No.
Oh, okay.
It was just really like, it was just turned up and it was clipping. And I was like, oh my gosh.
Oh yeah.
It's still doing it once in a while. Anytime I can't raise my voice.
Oh. Well,
And
hey
you know
Neil,
I'm
thanks
going
for
to,
joining us
I'm
for as
going
long
to
as you
raise
can.
my voice on this show because that's what I do because I'm the mean one. So I better get it figured out. And I can ASMR.
Yeah, Meow, if you are sleep deprived, please do take it easy, get some rest. We appreciate that you join us on the show even when it's difficult. You are so awesome, and feel free to rest, man. You're working hard. You're doing like I remember showing up for band stuff at like 5:30 a.m. in the morning. It is nuts. So I get it.
Yes.
Ah, loud noises.
I understand sleep deprivation for sure.
Mm.
And Baka, yes, yes, the Bedrock server is outdated, and there are people that want to get on there, and there are people that want to be whitelisted, and I'm just behind schedule on like everything, and I apologize. I wear lots of hats.
Oh yeah, you do. Every hat.
Sleep is the first
Every
step
hat
to better
carries.
mental health. I don't know if it's the first step.
It is. I think the
It
first
is
step to
a
better
step. It
mental
is one of
health
the
is
early steps, though.
yeah. Well, it's technically the earliest step because it's that's when you wake up in the morning. How before you decide, oh, I'm gonna get in better mental health. The first thing you do is wake up that day. So technically, it is the first step. Yeah. Anyways, let's get on with the show, hey?
Yes, let's do. Let's have a topic
All right.
so I can start yelling.
Oh, yeah. I'm excited.
Oh boy.
So I'm gonna just quickly check to see. Nope. Okay. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. All of our topics pretty much are asking to be present. So I'm gonna go call some names out. If you're here, please let us know. Jess, Jamie, Yozoa, and Ronia. Jess, Jamie, Yozoa, and Ronia, if you are here, please tell me. Cats is here.
Yep,
Fantastic.
that's for sure.
Cats, do you have a topic for us?
Cat's-tastic.
I do not have a topic, right? Yeah, great. Okay, thank you, though. I appreciate you reinforming us of the true existence that that you are here. That was good, and you are important, and it's great. I just realized how far behind I was. Keep freezing in my end. Oh, I'm sorry, Sally. Sally, it seems like you've been having a lot of troubles lately, with your internet and all that. I hope they clear up for you, man. Crawdad space heater. Yeah. Is crawdad space different than our space, human space? I can think of a topic. Please think of a topic if you have one.
Yes.
That'd be awesome.
How to have confidence in your original ideas. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's a tough topic.
It is.
All right, we'll go with it.
Because we all struggle with that, right? So yeah. Okay. So let me yeah. How to have
perfect
confidence in
your...
Joe,
write it.
I'm Googling it actually.
Oh, is that what you do? I thought you were writing it into the...
Because that's what I do. That's how I find all my answers for this show. I Google them.
Oh no. Joe word for word reads Google. That's why it sometimes seems like he's angry.
Ideas.
I Google that question.
Confidence in your original ideas. I Google that question. Oh, you Google that question. I just capitalized a word I didn't need to. Okay.
Anything good?
Huh?
Did you get anything good?
Did I get what?
Anything good out of Googling that question?
Oh. No, I didn't actually Google it. I was typing it here so I could put it up on the current topic. So now it's right there for you. See? It's all pretty.
Thank you, Joe. You're the best. Yeah. Neon said, did you get anything good out of Googling that question? It seems like you didn't if you are still asking it, right? But if it's worth sharing anything that you're like, oh yeah, this one thing stood out, that's great. Cool. I get done with my lessons. Yeah, that was great. Good job, right? Yeah, I totally understand that, Cats. Only to believe in yourself and think you're worth it. Okay, fair enough. All right, well, let's but you think you're pretty cool, so I don't know. Yeah, I know, right? Well, let's talk about it then. So, I'm gonna go ahead and read the topic, even though it's already read, and then we're gonna talk about it. Thank you so much, Neon Sai, for the topic. I appreciate you stepping forward and helping us with that. So, how to have confidence in your original ideas? The ideas you come up with, how do you have confidence in them? That's a great question, and I think it's something that's important, especially for people who create content like you and I, or who are, I guess, even just in any industry. You could be working at Taco Bell and you come up with an idea of like, hey, shouldn't we be cleaning these things differently? Or, I could do I could do all this paperwork at the desk faster if I do this, do it in this order. Having confidence in your own original ideas. I think that's good in any industry or anywhere your life takes you. So I think that having too much confidence can also be a problem, but that's not necessarily the question here. But that's obvious. One can have too much confidence in what they think and think that their idea is better than everybody else's. And I think that tends to be a lot more common of a problem than not having confidence in your own things. But I think both are common enough and worth covering. So thank you so much, Neon Sai. You're amazing. I love you, and I hope that we can cover this in a way that is fruitful. So
I hope so too.
I'm going to give it to you.
You're going to give it to me. Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Oh boy. Well, confidence is a struggle. It has been a struggle for a long time for me. It's actually one of the final stages right now in my therapy. My therapist is like, hey, we're getting to the point where we can close down our therapy sessions, which is very refreshing because there are a lot of therapists out there that would like to continue having their patients for all of time as a repeat customer. And so they're not always all that interested in helping you solve your problems. They're interested in having you for a patient. But I got lucky. I got a good therapist that is like, hey, we're going to fix your problems and then we're going to turn you loose. And so we're kind of getting to that point. But confidence is one of those things that we're working through. And a lot of that has to do with purpose. At least in my particular journey. But how to have confidence in your original ideas, it's no pressure. Only my whole career depends on this. Oh, no
Only my
pressure.
livelihood
No
and
pressure
everything.
at all.
Yeah.
Honestly, here's the thing. Like confidence, I learned this actually I was going through a course that I bought a long time ago about mixing and recording vocals for songs, right? And the question came up to this producer, this engineer, and he was like, so what happens if you get sent a bad vocal track and you're supposed to mix this in, And he's like, what do I do? So like, there's a lot of stuff you can fix in vocals now, with tuning and with, compression and equalization. There are a lot of issues that can be fixed in the production stages. But one thing that can't be fixed is the energy that the vocalist provides to the song. And so that's one of the things as I, work with different people and, help coach them as they're doing vocals, one of the main things I try to impress upon them is like, look, the only thing that I want from you is the authentic you. I want you to throw your whole heart and soul at that microphone. If you sing out of key a little bit, that's not a big problem. If you sing out of key a lot, that's not a big problem. There's a lot I can do with layers and tuning and compression, and there are a lot of tools that I have that I can fix a lot of those little issues, but I cannot put energy into a song that is lifeless. Does that make sense? And so confidence is really one of those keys in that. And so it's almost like you almost have to kind of pump yourself up a little bit and do it. But anyway, so this guy, he asked this producer, he's like, so what do you do when you get a bad vocal track, to try and mix? And he's like, well, I usually just turn it up. I put it right out front and I just front and center and turn it way up. And because if I try to hide it, or if I try to like tuck it down in with the guitars or whatever is going on, if I try and tuck it in somewhere, people are still going to notice this bad vocal track. So I just blatantly put it out front and just like, hey, you know what? That way no one's going to be able to say you didn't mean to do that. Because it's all about confidence. And he's like, because that's what so many things are in life in general, like everything, comes down to how confident are you and how willing are you to step forward and just do what you need to do. It's very interesting because depending on your profession, you may have people that, accept what you do for a living. And then other professions or whatever, you may have people that degrade what you do for a living. And, so you can't always just take what people say to heart. These are things that I've learned over the years, right? As a musician and as an artist, probably, it may be the same for visual art. I don't know. But as a musician, one of the things I've learned is I don't share a work in progress with the people closest to me. I honestly don't share much with the people closest to me unless, I really, really trust them. I really, really got to trust them, right? Because most of the time what you get from the people closest to you is either some kind of fake, oh, that's so that's so cool, or that's so nice, or whatever, right? And then like, so like you either get that kind of thing, or you get something like, well, don't quit your day job, blah 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 blah, and like, you know, so it's weird. Even in the Bible, Jesus said, a prophet is without honor in his hometown. And Jesus came from Nazareth, and everybody in Nazareth was like, they didn't believe in him, right? It's crazy. But like, it's so weird. Like, the people who tend to know us the best tend to, they know kind of all of our faults and our foibles and all this kind of stuff. So I'm just like, you know what? Screw it. I'm not sharing it with those people. I'm not sharing anything. If they find it on Spotify, or if they find it on YouTube, or if they find it somewhere, great. But I'm not going to just like go out of my way to send it to them and try and get feedback, unless there's somebody that I'm working on it with, or somebody that I trust. Only in those cases, because I know that the feedback I get from those people generally lowers my confidence. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It just is like, maybe I'm unique in this experience. I don't know. Go out and try it. See what happens. But either way, eventually you go through enough stuff and you're just like, you know what? We're all a mess anyway. Every single one of us is kind of messed up in some way, shape, or form. And so you look around the world and you look at the people around you and you're like, you know what? They've got issues too. I've got issues. They've got issues. We've all got issues. And something tells us that, there are people we're supposed to listen to, like politicians or actors and actresses or newscasters or whoever. We're supposed to listen to these people, and what they say is golden and blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, they're people. Some people listen religiously to religious leaders. And quite frankly, some religious leaders are way off track. I heard a little news snippet yesterday. They're talking about Christian nationalism. I overheard this news report about Christian nationalism, and I'm like, like, what they're doing is they're bashing Christianity as a whole for all these things that bad Christians did over the years.
Right.
And I'm like, it doesn't make the teaching unsound. It just means that somebody took the information and misused it and used it in a wrong way, and then used it for their own agenda and made a mess. But it doesn't mean that the teaching is wrong. It just means that that person was wrong. And so like, I'll look at people, and I respect authority. I respect my religious authoritative people. I respect them for the position they're in. But you know what? I don't believe everything they say. I'll go check it. I'll go question it. I will go and ask. And you know what? And it's funny because you can kind of tell. If you start to question authority and they get offended, they lose a lot of authority in my book. Because if what they're saying is worth its salt, then it should stand up to questioning. Does that make sense? So, hey, I'm up here talking, and you can listen to me if you want. You can take what I say, on any of these topics. You can listen and, learn and take whatever you want out of it. And feel free to ask me any questions whatsoever. I'm not going to get offended by you asking me, because I know I don't know. I know that I don't know, right? Like, that's part of the deal. But here's the thing. Like, if we are supposed to have confidence in ourselves and in what we're doing, all I do now is I look around and I'm like, you know what? Everybody else is just as messed up as me. And so I'm just going to put stuff out there and not care. I'm going to do what I do. I'm going to try to do my best. And that's all I can do. And, hey, screw it. Whatever. I put it out in the world and we'll see how it does. And that's just fine. So I don't know. It's a weird thing. Um, but one of the things that I've found that can give you a lot of confidence is digging in and trying to understand your purpose. Like, what is it that you're here to do? What is it like? I mean, Nyansai, you are an artist, right? And you're a tremendous artist. Like, I have thoroughly enjoyed all the work that I've seen you do, and so I think you're great, and you should have. Yes, you are pretty awesome. Absolutely. Um, so you have no reason to not be confident in your work. But we all kind of harbor that question. We question ourselves, and we're a little bit timid, and we're a little bit shy, and all this kind of stuff. And you know at some point you just kind of get to the point where it's just like, you know what, screw it. I don't even care anymore. There's people that are going to hate. There's people that are going to love it. There's people that are going to whatever. I don't care. And the more you align yourself with how you are built and what you are inside, because all of us are built a little bit differently. We're all built to do something. We're all put here for a reason. We all have talents. We all have skills that we've developed. We all have things that we like to do and things that we're drawn to and all this kind of stuff. And it makes up a very, very unique individual in each and every one of us. And so every single one of us is beyond compare. But we compare ourselves to other people all the time. And we compare others to others and all that kind of stuff. Like, oh, who's got a better physique? And there are competitions on all this kind of stuff. But those are just subject to somebody's judgment. There's a panel of judges, and that's just somebody's opinion. It's pretty wild. So, I don't know. I'm learning to just be me. And it's an interesting journey to be on. But I could go in and I could dive a lot deeper. Maybe I will, but I'm going to turn it over to Ryan first, and I'm going to see what he has to say, because otherwise I'm just going to talk and talk and talk, and you guys need to hear Ryan. So
I don't know. I like hearing Joe talk, but I can take a stab at it.
I'll tell you what. Y'all need to listen to Ryan because I said so. And feel free to question that statement if you want. But
that's great. Yeah, no. Honestly, Joe, I think a lot of what you said is really good. And that's something I want to sort of just continue a little bit of where you left off, if I have anything to say. Confidence, like, I have confidence in my work, but that's not really accurate. It's, I can put forward a song, I can work on a song, and I can do so with as if I have confidence. But in reality, it's not really a matter of confidence for me. And I don't think it needs to be a matter of confidence necessarily for anybody. And what I mean by that is the way that I see the world doesn't require confidence to act necessarily. I have confidence in something other than my actions, which bring about my actions, if that makes sense. So I'm going to go down that road.
Yes, take us down this road.
I'm a rather religious person, so I have confidence in God, but I don't have confidence necessarily in my own ability to perform, because I can't. I don't have infinite power. I can't decide the fate of people. I can't do much. All I can do is my little part, and I can't even fully, completely control me. you know, and I don't even completely know myself. But along the lines of what Joe was saying is about just be yourself. I think that is all you really can do. See, in my sort of weird worldview, I was put here, and that's where I am, right? And all I can do is choose between doing something good or doing something bad or doing something neutral, I suppose. Or just, making choices. But a lot of times when it comes to work, if I have an idea, all I can do is live that out and see it out. I can't decide whether it's going to change people's lives. I can't be the one to make the decision that it's worth doing in the first place. The only thing I can do is, oh, I had an idea and I think it's good. Um, so all I can do is put it out there and give it up to God and see what God decides to do with it in
Mm.
the world. Or in other words, for those non-religious, it's pretty much the same thing. Put it out there and see what people decide they want to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not that the work is something I have confidence is going to change people's lives. I have no idea. All I can do is throw it out there and see what happens. And so basically for me, rather than having confidence in an idea, I look at an idea and say, is that something that I find attractive or nice or, you know, like a good idea?
Or
If I look at it
repulsive.
and go, yeah, or repulsive, right? Sure. And if I look at it or or yeah, if it's tasteless or whatever, right? If I look at it and you know, it's not a matter for me of like I know for a fact that this is a good idea. It's more like I look at it and go, "Hmm, it's an idea that could be used for good." And I've got nothing else on my plate necessarily, or I have other things on my plate and I can try to weigh them and say, which one is going to be the most good? Which is going to bring about the most love in the world? Which one do I think? And that's all I can do. That's all I can base it off of is my own thoughts. And eventually, if I can't come up with one, maybe it's just whatever one I feel most inspired for, or whichever one's easiest task to tackle first.
Mm.
I go with it. And so rather than having confidence in myself, I recognize I can't change the people around me. I can't decide how far it's like I put out a song. I have no idea how far it will reach. I have no idea how people will receive it. The only thing I can do is put it out there. And so I don't really need confidence in the idea. I just have to, if the idea came to me and I weigh it and it looks like, eh, that's something I mean, it's better than nothing. And that's an idea. Um, and it's better than some of the other ideas I've had. Let's go for it. Let's try it. So, um, for me, it's rather I look at it from a perspective of it's not up to me. It's not up to my level of confidence. It's not up to how strongly I believe this idea will make or break, you know, because I can't decide that in the first place. So that's kind of how I look at it. That's why I don't really have a dilemma of confidence. It's more of just a dilemma of is this a good thing or a bad thing? And then it's like, okay, well, seems like it's a good thing. All I can do is put my intentions out there and let God pick up the rest because he's the only one that can follow through on my acts and my deeds. And so for me, that's what I have. And it's a rather different way of looking at it. I'm not sure that is helpful, but um, that's what I got. um, yeah,
All
that's really
right.
it. I don't know if anyone can relate with that, but that's the way my brain works.
Right on.
Yeah.
Well, so what you're saying is it's not necessarily you, but it's, it's confidence enough to know that, hey, whatever you put out there is something people are going to do something with. Whether they
Yeah, it's enough
take
to
it
work
or
with.
leave it or whatever,
Mhm.
it's something that's out there. And hey,
Mhm.
but see, you're
Yeah.
just you're a chill kind of guy, and so like
Yeah.
that's what makes you so lovable, right?
Well, I don't know if lovable, but maybe I'm lovable. But yeah. Yeah, I
You
never thought about why I need confidence in the first place. For me, it's not a struggle because I don't look and say, "Oh, I need confidence in my work in order to do it." I just look at it and say, "Is that a good idea? All right, that sounds great. Let's do it." The goodness of the object is more important than my confidence in the goodness of the activity, or the intention of the goodness of the activity, or the intention of I guess just the intention of the activity is far superior in my mind to the confidence I have in the idea.
Mm.
Because like my whole music industry, my whole music career got started off on whims
Mm-hmm.
entirely. And I couldn't afford to have confidence in them. All I could do was try because I had no prior experience. My brother said, "Hey, this is one of the things. There were many things, obviously. I've talked about them on stream before, how Joe kind of inspired me and put, the idea of purpose into writing music and so on and so forth. But one in particular, my brother said, "Why don't you write a song for this multi-millionaire and send it to him and see what happens?" And I was like, "All right, good idea as any." And then I did it. And guess
Mm-hmm.
what? I mean, it kicked off Joe and I's working together. We both ended up working together on an album, and everything moved forward from there. And so that idea, it's not like I had confidence. I had no confidence that it would work. I remember talking with my brother about it, and we sent it. Before I even sent it, I was just like, there's no way he's gonna see it. He gets hundreds of messages a day, I'm sure, blah 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 blah. And there's no way it's gonna work. And then even like after I sent it, nothing happened for a month or 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally, I had no confidence in it, but I decided to do it anyways because I could see the good in the possibility,
Mm-hmm.
right? It was the fact that there was a possible good that I felt it was worthy of doing, not self-confidence that I felt it was worthy of doing. Nothing is worthy of doing just because you have confidence in it. Nothing you should never consider that, I guess, now that I think about it. Having confidence in something is not decide the value of the activity. And your confidence level is not your your confidence in something is not going to be based on its value. Generally speaking, you don't have the ability to know whether you should be confident or not. You just are, or you aren't. And it has no basis in reality about what's going to happen with your idea. And so it's not really a it's not a prerequisite for a good idea, confidence. And it shouldn't be a prerequisite on whether you decide to do it or not. It's the possibility of the value and maybe the probability to some degree that you can weigh in there. That's worth trying. And I would say, as the story went, for 2 months, I think it was 2 months. I didn't get a message from Chris Brady is his name.
Mm.
And then all of a sudden I got a message from him on Facebook, and he said, "Hey, I just saw your song. I really like it a lot. Can I buy it from you?" And then I was like, "How about this? Can we talk to you after one of your major seminars or something like that? Get together at some point?" And we did, and then we pitched him selling, basically making a whole album for him with royalties, and he
Mm-hmm.
loved it because he'd been looking for someone to do that. They just couldn't find anybody, and
Mm-hmm.
so it was a win-win. It's really awesome. But what was interesting, he said the only reason he saw my message was because I was the only person that didn't have a face on Facebook. Instead, I had this weird symbol, and he was like, "What is that symbol?" It caught his eye, and so he clicked on it, and it happened to be a symbol that was like a really neat design that I drew because I thought it looked cool, and it was just there. It was like a cross with some cool swirls around it and stuff like that, and I was like, "Hey, that looks really cool." And then that'd be like my whatever. For whatever reason, I was inspired to draw a little symbol um for my just um like a logo, if you will, for a non-existent company. Essentially, is what
Mm-hmm.
it was. Um, but anyways, one thing leads to another, and in life, that's the way things work. It's like I had this off idea of making a logo for a business that didn't even yet exist, but I used that as my profile picture on Facebook. And it's like, I don't know what inspired me in the first place to make that logo. I remember some things that inspired me to make it because I was like, well, it's kind of religious-ish, and it's kind of whatever. It is cool and I think it's inspiring if, blah blah blah, but I don't know what inside me inspired me to make that image in the first place, but that was many months before, and that was what led him to actually seeing the message in the first place, which, et cetera, et cetera. So in life, there are so many coincidences or things that it's like if that didn't happen, if that didn't happen, if that didn't happen, it's like life is like that. Life is full of God's hand, if you will. That's the way, it's like God's hand is in that. That's the only explanation for a lot of these things. Like I have certain friends in my life that I would not have if it wasn't for some crazy certain set of circumstance that seem unbelievable. And it's awesome. And so I would say if that's the case, then having confidence in what I do, I don't have confidence in what I do. I have confidence in He who made me.
Mm.
And he the one who created me as I am, and I should be who I am. I should try to do the things that I think are worth doing, whether or not I believe they're going to be successful to some degree, right? Obviously, you have to weigh things. But that's part of who you are. It's part of why you have thoughts and inspirations. So, yeah, not concerned about outcome. Awesome. Great. Yep. So, I don't know. Those are my thoughts. I guess for me, again, in the end, I have confidence, I suppose, in myself because all I can do is have confidence in myself. Otherwise, there's like, all I can do is be me. All I can do is work with what I'm given. And so it's like, I've gotten to this point in my life, wherever this is. So I should have some kind of confidence in the fact that I can continue going forward in life.
Mm-hmm.
And that my ideas to some extent brought me to where I am today. And in fact, a lot of other people's ideas have brought me to where I am today. And so confidence is, yeah, I don't think you, Beyonce, have an issue with self-confidence. You just have an issue with confidence in your ideas. And I don't think your ideas need to have confidence in them to be worthy of doing. And that was why I told that story about my brother giving me the idea to write, because I had no confidence that would work. In fact, I told him multiple times, I said that would never work.
Mm.
That won't work. There's no way. Like, how is that supposed to get me anywhere?
But how do you
But
know
I
it
was
won't
like,
work unless you try? It's like the
yeah,
parents, like the food you don't want to try,
yeah. And you know what? I took a limb on possibility. I took a limb on the crazy off chance that it did work. I took a leap of just, hey, nothing else that I'm writing is going to be any more good than this idea, and good in the sense of not just um, like how far it can push me, but good in this idea of like what can make an impact. So for me, it was like, what can make an impact? All right, this is one idea. Let's go for it. And I went with my brother's idea. I had no confidence in it, and it worked, right? So for me, confidence is secondary to value of possibility
Mm.
for how good an activity can be. Good to the world, good to the people that listen to it, good to, the nature of reality that we live in. So, yeah. Anyways, I said I was going to be done because I decided to tell a story. So, all right, now
It
I'm
was a good
actually done,
story.
Joe. Go ahead.
I remember that story.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of funny, and like, and I think that's awesome that, I mean, it's awesome that we did that project together. It's awesome that Kyle, recommended you do that. And, like, hey, you just kind of threw it out there and we'll see come what may, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then that was kind of the birth of us working together on all this kind of stuff. And that, you said that came after we had that conversation?
It came.
Yeah, it
The
must have. It must have come after that conversation we had.
It must have. Well, yeah, it must have. I don't know though, because I feel like I remember having the conversation with Kyle before we had the conversation, because I was in Houghton Lake when I first had the conversation.
Mm,
But when we did our talking, I was moved. I was in Roscommon,
mm,
and then this song got finished sometime later. So I think it was after
okay.
that we had the conversation, but I don't know. My memory's not clear on that.
Mm-hmm. One of the things I've learned, and that's a great example of surrounding yourself with good people,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Because that can do a lot as far as how much confidence you have or do not have in your ideas. By the way, we have a couple new topics. I already did one of them while you were talking. I don't know if you want to jump in there.
Awesome.
Soaking Pillow gave us a topic. So
Yay.
thank you very much. And there was something that Mianglio said in the chat up here. Oh, geez, and it really resonated with me. It says it's that that's not always true though. Wait, was there something before? Oh, sometimes the people closest to us genuinely think our stuff is really cool. I always think the music
Hmm.
Meow makes is cool. Okay, so that's your brother, right? Also, I've a lot of times seen where the artist is the biggest critic of their art, and they notice all the imperfections where a lot of people are too distracted by how good it is to pay much attention to the imperfections. I remember there was something Ryan and Joe said on Don't Worry Wednesday at some point along the lines of that there's a certain point where editing the song won't make it noticeably better for people. That's absolutely true. You know,
Hmm.
and while it's true, yes, the people closest to us don't always sometimes they're powerful force in our lives for good. And just
Hmm.
like what Ryan was talking about with Kyle, that's a good person to have around you. If you're
Hmm.
noticing the people around you don't encourage and don't try and help you along the way, or don't try and they're not building you up, then you may want to rethink who you're surrounding yourself with, because
Or who
sometimes
you
hmm,
sometimes you can't pick that, so maybe instead you just decide you won't you won't let your emotions and thoughts be guided by them. So
right.
it's like sometimes you can't because it's your parents or whatever, and you're still in, high school or something like that. You're stuck, but you
Hmm.
can decide I won't be vulnerable to them. I'm just going to kind of put up a fence.
Hmm. Yep, it's absolutely
But
true.
anyways, as you were.
Yep. Now some people are more influenceable than others. Like I've always it, it's weird. Like I go through stages of my life where I pay a lot of attention to the people closest to me, and then I end up, surrounding myself with people that are negative, and they don't build up me or what I'm doing, and so then I can feel myself spiraling downwards, right? And then there are other times in my life, it usually comes right after I have an aha moment with a person like that, where then I'm just like, you know what? Forget everybody else. I don't care. I'm going to go out there head first, and I'm going to beat against however many walls I need to, and I'm just going to go forward because, forget everybody else. And it's weird. I kind of go through those two extremes, right?
Mhm.
either paying too close attention to the people that are negative and causing me to lose confidence, or, like just saying, forget everybody else. I don't care what you say. I'm just going to go do what I do and forget you. And I might use colorful language, and you never know. But it's pretty wild. And the onside you have in the chat, you want to work on your own stuff because you don't feel like you actually contribute when you work on someone else's project. You like helping others, but don't come away thinking that you actually did anything. Um, it's it's interesting, that perspective, because that when we contribute to another person's stuff, it still can make a difference. Now, sometimes, I don't know, we're going in this direction with BSS where we're doing some cover songs, and it's pretty exciting. We're doing these songs that other people have written, and we're re-recording them and collaborating with people, and it's a lot of fun, and we're getting stuff done, and it's cool. But I can remember thinking in my mind a long time ago, and actually not too long ago, that, I never really wanted to be a cover musician. I wanted to have my originals get out there and shine on their own, right? And it's interesting because once and I don't know, maybe it's different for me, but when I was under the impression that I didn't want to be a cover musician, I wanted to just do originals and stuff like that. Like, it was a great goal, and it was fine, and it was wonderful. And then finally, enough of the fluff got stripped off of me where I was just like, I don't even care. I just like being a professional musician, and I want to perpetuate that. And I don't even care if it's somebody else's stuff. I don't care if I wrote it or somebody else wrote it. I just like playing, and I like working on it. And so that's what I like to do. And if that's what's going to further my career, then that's what I'm going to do. Right? And I guess to me that maybe that sounds selfish because I'm all about, perpetuating my career as a musician, but I also know that that's what I'm built to do. And so whatever I need to do in order to keep that going, I'm going to try and do, and yeah, you're just here for a good time, huh? Right on. So yeah. Oh, we've got some stuff from Soaking Pillow and Mianglios. About comfort zones and stuff. This is good. I partly agree with Ryan. For me, the necessity of confidence is situational. For situations involving getting people's attention, influencing people, and theory crafting do not require your confidence. Situations like making a device that could hurt people if it breaks, you should have confidence in the idea before implementing it. However, that comes after the theory crafting above. Once you have an idea created, no confidence needed. You can generate confidence in whether it will or won't work afterwards with math in the engineering field. I would agree with you there.
Yeah.
However, I also would add a little bit of a caveat there. You said getting people's attention and influencing people and stuff like that. I would say that requires a fair amount of confidence if you are the seller. Like, if you are the person selling the idea, it requires some confidence, or else people aren't going to believe in you. If you come in and you're all like, well,
Right. If you don't have confidence in the product, no one else is going to either.
Right. Exactly.
If you don't have confidence in yourself, no one's going to believe in you either. And that's, you sell yourself whenever you sell an object or something or any idea to someone, you sell yourself first. And if you don't look attractive to them, they're not gonna buy it.
And attractive meaning not necessarily with the best looks, but just that confidence, that air of posture, that air of presence of saying, hey, I believe in this and you should too. And, like sometimes, I'll play this little game in my head and I'll be like, okay, like I need to portray this as an idea that, what, I believe in this and you would be stupid if you didn't believe in it too. Like I have to go that far in my brain sometimes in order to have the confidence to push forward, because otherwise I will be second guessing myself and I'll be like, just I won't have the confidence in order for somebody to agree with the idea or whatever. And then you also kind of get to the point where it's like, you know what, you can believe in it or not, and I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care. I'm going to do this, and I don't care. Like, I don't care what you think. there comes to that point where we kind of almost have to generate that posture within us of saying, you know what, I'm put here to do this thing. I'm put here to be this person and to do this kind of work and to, put this out there. And whatever anybody else's input is, I don't care.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And
that's
that's
kind of where I am.
exactly. And that's a beautiful place to be because, you said it so well. You said, I don't have confidence in myself. I have confidence in him who made me. Right. And that's a great place to be, and maybe one day I'll be there again. But
You'll get there, buddy.
yeah, we'll see. But anyway, so it's crazy because each and every one of us has that struggle, right? We all have those voices in our heads that tell us we can't do something, or we're stupid for doing it, or who am I to think I could do something like this, or whatever, right? We battle that inside us. And what Ryan has shared with you is a way to remove yourself from that battle entirely, because it's not about you and your confidence level or your work even. It's just like, hey, I don't have to worry about it. Neon Sai, you said you're not concerned about outcome. That's a great place to be as well, because then you can just create and put it out and not worry about the outcome. Like when we bind ourselves to the outcome, it becomes a lot more stressful and it can chip away at our confidence level, right? And I know I fall victim to that all the time.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. And so I don't know. There's a lot that can be said about this, but the truth of the matter is, hey, you're here to put some stuff out into the world, whatever that is, whoever you are. You have something to bring to the world, and it's unique and it's you. And whatever anybody says about that is kind of irrelevant, because it's you.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can learn to be authentic and just do you. I remember one of the things that I can't remember who told it. I said something and they were kind of making fun of me, and they're like, well, you do you, boo,
Mm-hmm.
And I sat there and they were making fun of me. It was my ex. I'll never forget this, because I told her about something and she was laughing about it and making fun of me for it, and then just said kind of sarcastically, you do you, boo. And that stuck with me, partly because it's catchy and it rhymed, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the other part was like, yeah, you know what? It doesn't matter if you want to make fun of me. It doesn't matter if you want to, denigrate what I'm doing. It doesn't degrade anything. It doesn't matter. I'm here. I'm me. And I don't have anything else to do or anywhere else to go. So I guess I'm just going to go do this because, yeah, this is what I feel like I'm supposed to be doing. So anyway, I don't know. Ryan, did you have anything else on this topic?
Was any of that helpful? Was anything anything you want us to dive further into? Anything that you feel like maybe you could steer us in another direction to guide us forward in this conversation to help? If not, awesome. Thank you for the topic. Thank you for just being patient with us, and also thank you to everybody else in the chat who's been responding and also kind of just adding to the conversation. You guys are really great and helpful and awesome. But yeah, if there's anything that you can that you want to dive further into or say, yeah, okay, feel free to move on. Okay, awesome, great. Well, I hope that was at least helpful in some way. If not, apologize. But maybe it'll be helpful to somebody else in the chat to move forward in their life. So that's always the nice caveat of the show. It's like even if it's not necessarily helpful to the person who asked, at least it kind of still puts out some help and wisdom out there into for other people to chew on and digest themselves and think about and maybe solve some of their own catches or just face something further down the line in their road of their life. They have some fortification in the area. So this was a great
Sure.
topic.
It is.
Thank you so much. I
Confidence is
think
a
this is definitely
huge
something that
struggle
we all
for
have
a
to
lot
deal
of
with.
us.
Yeah, absolutely. Something we all struggle with. And we all have to put our ideas out there at some point or another, and having confidence in them can be, well, it can just stop you in your tracks if you don't have it. And so, otherwise, I would say just don't rely on it. You don't need it
Mm-hmm.
necessarily to do good. You don't need confidence in something to do something great in life.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we all have had that experience. And so maybe the solution is not to wait for confidence, just like you don't wait for inspiration to act always. Sometimes you just got to work and inspiration will come later.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with confidence. You know, sometimes you just have to act and the confidence in what you're doing will come later.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Um,
It's helpful in
so
that it is guiding me towards the real issue.
yeah. Yeah, it's great. I mean, that's kind of how things go, right? It's like, okay, well, that gets me closer and more the road is getting more narrow to my solution here, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
Getting deeper into more of a root cause, which is always really helpful. Anyways, thank you so much, Yansai. You're awesome. We appreciate you, and we appreciate you giving us a topic. The spur of the moment. You're awesome. Let's move on to the next topic.
Mm-hmm.
We got one from Twin Mom and one from Soaking Pillow. Twin Mom has no preference, whether they're here or not. And Soaking Pillow. Which of these would you rather do, Joe? What are you thinking? You
Hey, doesn't matter to me.
you did the Twin Mom one, but I did the. Okay. We'll go with
You're
Soaking
the host,
Pillow.
man. It's
So,
your job to pick.
all right, we're going to go with
Be
Soaking Pillow
confident in your
because
decision.
all right, well, full confidence, full steam ahead. Uh, we'll do Soaking Pillows. Just because they are requesting to be here. And the other has no preference, which means if we get to it tomorrow, or sorry, tomorrow next, don't worry, Wednesday. At least I'll still be open in Soaking Pillow, having internet issues a lot lately. Um, won't have to feel like, oh no, I'm gonna miss my topic. So this is great. Um, welcome, Cal's Kitchen. Nice to see
Yes.
you. That's great. You're able to make it.
And you
All
forgot it's
right.
Wednesday, Kendra. That's okay. Don't worry.
Yeah. Hey, welcome. Happy to have you here. You can
Don't
always
worry.
catch up on the
Don't
show
worry
later if you
about it.
want. But if you don't want to, you don't have to. We love you.
Yep, it's
All
Wednesday. You're
right.
not allowed to worry anyway.
So, do you want to
Which
pull up
one
the
are we
topic and
doing?
I'll read it? We are doing Soaking Pillows, um, usernames, and profile pictures.
Ah, yes. Okay, I can put the topic up on the screen here. Hold on, just give me, just a second. Gimme.
Wakey, 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 wakey. It's time for your confidence assessment. Could you imagine every morning?
Oh my gosh,
Oh, man.
that'd be something. All right,
Mm-hmm.
there's the topic for you.
All right. Okay, it's up on the board.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. All right, this is from Soaking Pillow. It's titled Usernames and Profile Picture. It reads as follows. How significant are usernames and profile pictures? I see people change their usernames fairly frequently and even updating their profile pictures even more often. This happens on Discord and in video games for me, but I'm sure it happens elsewhere too. I sometimes struggle to keep track of people's names. I typically try to call people by the name I met them with, just so I can keep track of who it is I'm talking to. In the same way, I feel like once I've had a profile picture and username for a while, it would be wrong, if not at least confusing, if I were to change it. People recognize me by those online. Should I be updating more often? How should I handle other people's dynamic names? Adding to this, I recall topics on here, Don't Worry Wednesday, where people have decided they want to go by a different name in real life. Sometimes even from a different biological gender. And sorry, The other word is more appropriate here. I don't know how I would be able to handle that. Fortunately, I have not yet had to. Whatever name I learn for a person first is the name they have to me. It's part of who they are for me. Is that a problem? Thank you for your thoughts. Soaking Pillow. Yeah, thank you, Soaking Pillow. We appreciate that you sent this in. We appreciate you sharing your dilemma. I totally understand this dilemma. I definitely will say that I I reverberate. I don't know. I can't think of the right word. Anyways, I relate. There we go. I relate to this problem. I relate to this issue entirely. Um, I remember when I was young. I mean, when I was first starting to play video games, people, you had to have a different character if you wanted to play a different class on a video game, and so you make a new character. It has to have a different name, and so then people had to go by a different name, and so it was confusing. But not only that, sometimes people were like, they're a guy, but then they would play a girl character, and it had nothing to do with like, oh, I wanted to be a female in real life. It was just like, I like looking at this girl's butt better than this guy's butt. And so they would play a girl character. And I was like, dude, okay, that's shallow, but sure, whatever. Um, and that's the way I felt about it. And I was just like, okay, so people are changing all over their place. I'm trying to remember who they are. I'm trying to remember like, and eventually you'd get it down, but only for a time. If you kind of left the environment and came back, you're like, wait, who's who again? Oh shoot, I'm supposed to know this person's name. I recognize their name, but I don't know who it is. Ah, this is annoying. It's very tough, very tough. So my point is, I totally relate, and I understand the dilemma. Also for the name change in real life, I've had friends who, um, I have one of my best friends from high school, or actually I should say from elementary, middle school, and high school, um, changed their gender from male to female and and it now goes by a female name. And I had to tell them, I was just straightforward with them, like, hey, look, I'm sorry, I'm gonna say your previous name on accident most of the time. And they're like, dude, do not worry about it. I get it. That's obvious. Of course you would. You've called me that your entire life. No way you would just all of a sudden be like able to just change your habits. So they were really cool with it. They were very what I really appreciated is that they weren't ever offended. They didn't ever feel defensive about it. Even when I referred to them as a guy instead of a girl, they were never like taken aback. They were just like, nah, man, it's cool. I get it. Obvious. For obvious reasons, you would mess that up. Don't worry about it. It's cool, man. I'm not offended. And so I really appreciated that. But I'll tell you what, not everyone out there is like that. And that makes it really tough because you're walking on eggshells, especially in our current society. It feels like we have to walk on eggshells for everybody. And that sucks. So this is a great topic for a lot of different reasons. From just different usernames that are harmless to changing your name in real life, changing your gender, changing who you are and how you identify, to the people around you, and maybe the crisis surrounding that. So there's lightheartedness and difficult and more I guess challenging things to talk about here. So thank you so much, Saul. This is a great topic. I appreciate that you share this with us and you share the struggle with us in this world. So I'm gonna step out of the way and give it over to Joe and see what he's got for this.
Well, Soaking Pillow, and I could also call you Saule, right? Can I call you by whatever name I want? It's interesting to me that this whole thing, it's really about what's in your heart, right? Now, what's on your mind is, this is confusing to me, and it might be a little bit of a struggle, right? And that's fine. And if you do like what Ryan had said, like, hey, I'm sure that I'm going to mess up from time to time and probably call you by the name that I knew you as before, so just understand that. And I'm sorry, I don't mean to do that, right? That's a great preface to you then trying to respect their wishes. It's it's a matter of, hey, do I respect this person? Yes, I want to respect their wishes. I want to respect, what do they want to be called? How do they want to be known as? And, like that's something that personally I try to honor that as best as I can. And sometimes I mess it up because I've known them for a long time and I've known them as different names. And, and so like the name that sticks in my head is the name that I will generally call them. And, sometimes they'll give me permission to do that. Sometimes they won't. And, but here's the other thing, Ryan talked about walking on eggshells. And it kind of runs contrary to the last topic. Confidently stomp on those eggshells, man.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, your feet need the calcium.
No, but here's the thing. Like there's differences here, right? Like, somebody wants to be called a certain name. I'll do my best. I'll call you by whatever name, by what you want to be called. That's fine. I don't mind. I might ask, hey, why'd you decide to change your name? Why did you decide to change this? Blah, 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 blah. And it's not me trying to, like be offensive or, anything like that. It's just a curiosity. And I want to get to know them and I want to know what's going on in their head and in their heart. And I want to get to know I want to get to know them. And this is how they are identifying themselves. This is how they're presenting themselves. And so it's best to try and honor that, in my opinion, right? I know it's confusing and I'm sorry. And some people handle it, better than others. Some people have a real struggle with it. Some people don't care. Some people will assign names to other people just because. There's a group of people that I used to be in my life that, I remember there was a boyfriend of one of these family members that came onto the scene and I think his name was Mark, but they decided to call him Frank because they said, "Hey, you look like Frankenstein," and so they were making fun of him, and so they changed his name to Frank, but his name was Mark, and then so like, but then they just kept calling him Frank until, like it just broke down the walls enough because they kept doing it until he just started going by Frank. And to me, I'm like, that's like, really? Like, you're just going to assign somebody what you want to call them? And then just call them that? And then just be like that? Like, to me, that's like the opposite of kind. But I've seen this happen, right? Where people will call somebody a name and then they'll continue and continue and continue. And then over time, that person's defenses finally, break down and they're finally like, they just, submit to it. And they're like, okay, fine, call me whatever you want, whatever. And that has a way of really, degrading a person, in my opinion. So really, what's the issue here? It's like, okay, let's try and be respectful to people. Let's try and honor them. Let's try and respect them. And, let's try and get along, right? That sounds like bullying. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? It's weird. Mm-hmm. But here's the other thing. Like Ryan said also, some people are going to not be offended if you screw up. Some people are going to be cool and they're going to just be like, hey, whatever. And like Kat said, a simple correction and then move on, right? Mm-hmm. Yep. And it's like, yeah. So, hey, it's not that big a deal. We don't have to get all bent out of shape. But, hey, let's move on. But then there are some people who are just going to get truly offended. And I'll let you in on a little secret. Soaking Pillow. You will not navigate this life without offending somebody.
Hmm. Your very existence offends someone.
It does.
It's
It does.
accurate.
Yep. You will offend people in this life. I'm sorry, but it's their choice to be offended or not. It's their choice of how far they want to take the offense. Cats, yes, you do. You're good at it. um, but I don't know. Like, okay, so we're gonna offend people, right? Here's the thing. What's in your heart? What's going on in your heart? Are you offended that they would decide to go by a different name? Are you offended by that? If you are, then that might be something to work through in your heart and in your head to say, okay, well, there are bigger fish to fry in this world than to be offended by that. Now, I understand the confusion. I understand that it can be difficult. I understand that, like sometimes, like when people change the deal all the time, it can be frustrating. I understand that. And especially like I'm a melancholy personality, so I'm more of a perfectionist type, right? And all this kind of stuff. Like, yeah, like I like things to be in their particular order, and it's hard and it's frustrating when it changes all the time. And it makes me mad, and it makes me yell, and then it makes me raise my voice, and then we lose subscribers. Right?
That's not true. People come more to the. You set yourself on fire, people will come to watch, right?
Okay, fine. Then I will say everything extra loud.
Perfect. Perfect.
No, but honestly, we all would like to be respected. We all would like people to respect our wishes, for sure. Right?
Mhm.
And so my advice in this case would be to just do your best. Do your best. Sometimes it's confusing. Sometimes it's difficult. Sometimes it's whatever. But if you can develop in your heart a heart for that other person to say, I want to be friendly to them. I want to, I want to honor them as a human being, as an individual. Put that in your heart first. And then if you mess up, you mess up. No big deal. You can apologize. It can be a simple correction. You can move on, whatever. If they get offended, they get offended. And just remember what I said. You're not going to go your whole life without offending somebody. You're going to. You can try your hardest. You can do the best you possibly can. You can try and move mountains for people, and it won't be enough, and they will be offended. And you never know what's going to happen until you get into the moment, right? But what's going on in your heart? That's what matters. And if you have a heart for other people, a lot of things can get smoothed out. A lot of things, like if you screw up and you offend somebody, you can smooth it out in most cases if your heart's in the right place. Sometimes you can't. Sometimes people will just break off. They'll be offended. They'll never talk to you again. And hey, it happens, right? But I don't know. My encouragement to you would be just try your best. Try your best. And don't be worried about screwing up, because you're gonna. You're gonna screw it up once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna offend somebody once in a while. It's okay. Just do your best. I don't know. That's what I got. So, Ryan, I'm gonna turn it back over to you.
Sure. Hey, thanks. Absolutely. I mean, there's a lot in chat. Obviously, you can go ahead and read that if you haven't already. Lots of really good things being said from Katz and Yonsai and everywhere. So just oh yeah, and Kendra as well. Um, oh, I guess and Kel
Were
as well.
they
Yeah,
were
all
they
of you guys.
were they
Everybody said something
agreeing?
important.
Were they agreeing with what I said, or were they disagreeing with me? Were they fighting me?
Yeah, they were. They were just man. It was a wrestling match. No, I'm kidding. Yeah,
Mm,
of course they were agreeing
I'll
with you.
fight with you.
You're always right, Joe.
Let's
So
fight. Who
everyone who
wants
is
to
right,
fight?
praise.
I'm
Yeah,
looking for a fight.
Joe's ready to go. All right, Joe, let's fight. Or let's
Yeah,
not fight.
fight.
I decided against it. I don't want to get
Cats,
hurt.
I will fight you.
We'll fight you. All right. So, anyways, um, yeah, I relate to this topic because obviously, as I said in the beginning, played a lot of video games and did a lot of online stuff. One thing you can do on Discord that's really helpful is you can write notes for people. So take notes real quick here, Saule. You can right click on someone's name and put notes on that individual. And in the notes, you can write their name that you remember them by so that you actually, whenever they change their name, you still know who it is. I found that very helpful. I haven't done that for everybody, but every once in a while I'll get a message from someone and I'm like, I have no idea who this is. So I have to read up and our times I have to go like a year back of just like message until it clicks. I'm like, oh my gosh, I just figured out who this was. So that can be a struggle, a real struggle. Some I've been there a lot. A lot. It's not good. So write notes on people because that helps. Then you at least have some frame of reference to like, oh yeah, I know who this person is. Um, so anyways, that's a tip. Beyond that, I I can get behind the idea of not changing your own for the sake of other people. One
Mm-hmm.
thing that I think about is something Nyansai said, which is let me try to find it real quick. Um, let's see if I can find it here. No, 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 no. Okay. She said, I wanted to be in control of my image, but really, it's not up to me how people view me. It's up to the people. And this is because Nyansai would change her name, um, every once in a while to change how she was appearing to other people, right? And that's a true statement. And it's not one that should be overlooked. I don't think I think it makes sense that we change our profile picture, we change our name to suit a more specific or more accurate definition to, or at least how we want to be portrayed, right? When it comes to online things, it's a little difficult because a lot of us are just like picking names because we think they sound cool
Mm-hmm.
and we want to be cool. And
Mm-hmm.
so we pick something that's cool because we want to be cool,
Yeah.
um, which is great. And it
Yeah.
says a little bit about our personality.
Be
So
cool.
one thing you can do is when people change, you can just kind of think about that and go, okay, that's what they think is cool. It gives them away in a way. People change their name to something that they think sounds cool. And it's like, okay, so they think those things are cool, those kinds of names or those kinds of whatever. Um, but here's an interesting thing. In response to you asking, should you be changing your profile picture and name more? I would say no. I don't think you should. And I don't think necessarily we should be adopting. I don't think it's necessarily wrong, but I don't think we should be adopting a culture of name change. And
Mm.
that comes from a lot of different reasons. In our current culture, everyone wants to be accepted. Um, I would say that that's was generally true throughout human society. People want to be accepted, but regardless, everyone right now wants to be accepted. And so they may change who what they call themselves, or they may change um, their their identity to match more what's more acceptable, or what's more celebrated, or they might do it because they've figured out inside themselves that, hey, this more accurately represents me. Now, that's an interesting thing to do, since when I look back on ancient history, they had this dilemma before, and they solved it in a really particularly unique way. And I'm just gonna kind of cover that, because whether or not it's the right thing to do, it's worth looking back at history and how people solved things like this before. When a culture was adapting a identity crisis, okay? Because people have always had identity crisis since the beginning of time. This is nothing new. But they solved that problem in certain societies along the way. And we are currently probably unsolving it. But that's okay. We are where we are in society, and we have to figure out how to move forward from here. So that's what we're going to do, right? Hopefully. Hopefully we move forward. I hope that's always the case, that we're moving forward. So anyways, just a little bit of an interesting history lesson. A long time ago, your name, if you were to name something, it means you have authority over that thing, right? So, Sally, you are someone who knows your Bible. In the beginning, Adam named all the animals of the land, right? He was sent to name them because he has the authority, the authority, right? Authorship, right? It's the same word, authority. He gets to be the one who names them because he has authority over them. Just like when you write in a book, when you write a book, you're the author because you have the authority over every word in that book. And so when you then decide that, you have a child and you're going to name it, you name it because you have authority over the child. Now, in the ancient world, a child was not allowed to be named by anybody unless the person they are being named by has authority over them.
Mm.
And you are not allowed to call that person by any other name unless something happened in which another force obtained authority over them. Such like maybe adoption, or maybe an experience with God where God renames you, or an experience with a king, for example. But anyhow, you weren't allowed to change your name. In fact, if you had a name and you were like, I want to change my name, I don't like this name, you are not allowed to change your name because you don't have the authority to decide who you are. Which is an interesting thing, because it's like, well, I have the authority over me. In the modern day, we look at ourselves and we say, well, I get the ability to make choices for what I do, what I eat, what I say. So, right. So your name, right, Cal, doesn't your name belong to you? Doesn't that mean it's in your authority? And in the ancient world, the answer is no. Your name is not what belongs to you. Your name is what you are and what people call you and refer to you by. And
you don't get to
you
pick.
are the sum of you don't get to pick. You are the sum of your actions.
And you also didn't get to pick your spouse, and you didn't get to
Right.
you probably couldn't even pick your
It's true.
nose. Like,
No, it depends on the culture, but yeah, absolutely. There are many cultures you couldn't pick your spouse or pick your nose. Um, luckily that we live in an age where we get to pick our nose, though, right?
I
And that's
know,
pretty
right?
great.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe the spouse thing, whatever, but the nose thing for sure.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
awesome. Man, I couldn't imagine having someone else pick my nose. Anyways,
I would prefer it.
well, it's too bad you weren't born into that world,
Kidding.
huh?
Kidding.
Yeah, of course. Um, so yeah, it's just an interesting thing. So now as we've moved forward, we've said, well, I get to decide who I am. It's an interesting thing because you don't. To some degree you do, but to some other degree you don't. I think here's the thing. We're born into this world not knowing who we are. And we go through the world learning and becoming to understand who we are. But we didn't pick those things about ourselves a lot of time.
It's true.
It's like I didn't pick my personality. I just have it. And there are certain things I can do to retrain myself, and that's true. And I can make those choices. But who I am, in a very large part, was not decided by me. It also wasn't decided by my parents or anything like that. I just am. And here I am, and I am who I am. And I'm discovering that as I go through my life, who I am. I don't really have full authority over me because I didn't get to pick who I am. I just am.
Especially once you get married. Holy cow.
I don't know what that has to do with it. I don't track. I'm not tracking that one.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's great. Yes, you will be you'll only be a husband. That's all you are anymore. Yeah, that's right.
Hubie.
Mm-hmm.
No more Ryan.
All right. Well, I'm fine with that. I'm all right with that. So anyways, it's interesting to me. And so the point of this isn't to say necessarily that people changing their names all the time is the wrong way to do things. But I would like to point in the direction of perhaps the reason we have a crisis of identity is that we believe we're the ones who have that choice. And then the reality is we don't have the choice over who we are. And I think that's something that they figured out in the ancient world and solved, and we sort of in the modern world unsolved. And that is why we have an identity crisis today. Does that apply necessarily to usernames, online profiles, and so on? I don't think it's quite as deep as that. I think the username and profile picture thing is a lot more shallow and not intense as the identity crisis that we are going through in our world today. But I think that it doesn't help in that perhaps the notion of being able to pick our usernames and profile pictures was part of the catalyst to what we are encountering today in our world's identity crisis, in that it provided a grounds of anonymity and a grounds of showcasing yourself and who you are without actually having to be even truthful about it. So, I suppose that doesn't necessarily answer your question, Saule, but I would say to you, in lieu of all of that, and that is, I would say to you in lieu of all of that, that I don't think you should necessarily be updating your profile more often, unless you think it more aligns, your update more aligns with what you've discovered in yourself, and you want people to experience that. But the reality is, people will know who you are from their experiences with you, not by the names that you're called. When I lose someone because they've changed their names, I have to go through my DMs and figure out who this person is and have my memory serve me when I reread the conversations we had and I go, oh my gosh, I've just figured out who this is from all of these memories that we shared. It's not really their name that gives me the answer to who they are. And so I think names are just sounds. a lot of times.
Mm-hmm.
A name is just a sound that you call someone by. You get their attention by. In fact, the kanji, or the Chinese writing of the word name, is literally is literally a pictogram. It's a picture of the moon and food. Why? Because the only time you would need to call someone is when there's food or it's nighttime. Because it's dark and you're like, come home. Blah, 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 blah. Come home. It's getting dark.
Mm-hmm.
Blah, blah, blah. It's time to eat. And so it's a sound with which we use to get someone's attention. But who they really are is much more than a name. And it's much more than they can say in a name, because we run too deep for a sound to describe us.
And I'm totally going to change my name to blah, blah, blah and see if that one sticks.
I'm sure it would. I mean, that's a pretty good. I think
Blah, blah,
anyone
blah.
that went with
Blah,
that name
blah,
of blah blah
blah.
blah would be blah blah blah.
Yes.
Pretty good one. Yeah. So I think the emphasis on names, I think the world could spare a little. You know, you don't have to put that much of emphasis on it. You don't have to put that much of an emphasis on how you identify with a sound. I think I understand it. It makes sense. But to really get to know someone, you deal with the person, you experience the person, you share memories with them, you blah blah blah, right?
Yeah, blah,
And
blah, blah.
so, yeah, those kinds of things, blah
Yeah.
blah blah. So basically, what I'm saying is, it kind of doesn't matter. Let people just call people by whatever sound you want. If they get offended that you're using that sound, then that's understandable. Be polite. Don't try to offend people. Use what they ask for. But I'll tell you what, I've met a lot of people who change their name on Discord or in a game, and they like it that I still call them by their old name, because they recognize, like, that's because we built up a relationship. That's because we know each other. That's because I knew them before that change. And they're like, they remember me. They remember who I am. They remember the, experiences we've had together. And so you can always ask. Just like people were saying in the chat, you can always ask and say, what would you like me to call you? You want me to call you by this name or your old name? And I mean, I've seen people change their name just on the daily to things that don't even have names in them. They're like, their name is like, I like potatoes. And then the next day they're like, Danganronpan's the best anime ever. And it's like, okay, so that's not something I can call you. These are not names. These are just titles that you're putting over your profile so that you can make a statement. But it's not something that I call you by, right? So I don't know. The answer is, it's fine. It's okay. I don't think it's necessarily a good thing, but just deal with it. And it's not really doing any harm. So it may not necessarily be a good thing, but it's not doing any harm. And sometimes people want to let go of their past. Sometimes people move forward. It's like, I used to go by the name, I don't know what, like, I used to go by the name of Pink Spaghetti Pants, but I'm kind of more mature now and I don't care for that name anymore. And I don't really need to be known by that name. I'm going to move to a new name. And so people go with something like, my new name is Bob. And it's like, great. Call them Bob. Sometimes people just move on. They're no longer attached to the names, or they think their old names are a bit cringy or whatever. So it's not a big deal. But how do you remember them? It's through your experiences. And so write down notes if you can, especially on Discord. You can write notes on the person's profile for yourself, and that'll help you remember who they are, because who they are is a lot deeper than how their name sounds. I've had people I've forgotten who they are because their name, I was like, I don't remember this name. But then I read back my conversation, so I remember this person. So I would say, write notes. That's about the best I can offer. Do other people see those notes? Other people cannot see those notes. Those are your personal notes on Discord. No one else can see those notes. So you can write, this person was mean to me, and no one will know. It's just you on your account. Yep. And otherwise, I mean, if you wanted, you could write it down on pen and paper and then store that somewhere, but it's a lot of work. But people used to do that in the old days. People used to do that. People used to have notebooks that they filled out with people's information on it, like who they were, how they met them, what kind of job they had, what their experience was when they first met them. They would write that all down on a piece of paper so they could remember who this person was when they called or when they met them on the street again. So it's not an unpracticed thing, and it's not something that's new. Go ahead and give notes a shot. It works. So there you go.
I got all
Sorry,
kinds
that
of
was a
notes
long
about
drawn.
all kinds of people on Discord.
Good.
I got to remind myself of stuff.
Oh yeah, it's hard. There's so many people. How are you gonna keep track? And if all of them changed the name, it's like I have no idea.
I don't think I
Do
have
I have
notes
notes?
about you
No.
yet, Soaking Pillow, because somehow I ended up not being your friend until recently again, or whatever.
Yeah, and Soaking Pillow, you don't change your, like, I know you by two names, Saule and Soaking Pillow, and you don't change your name and profile enough for me to have to, like, write something down. So you're easy to keep track of. So thank you.
I feel a little nervous if you have so many notes for me, Cats. Like, I mean, I have notes for you, but I don't know if I'd call it so many.
That's great.
So, all right. Hey, cool.
Oh yeah, Shinden. Yeah, well on Discord, yeah, you're Shinden. That's right. Sorry, I forgot. That was the other name I knew you by. So you have 3 names. That is quite a lot, but it's still easy to keep track of you.
Well, I want to see mine. You're not gonna share. You're not gonna share the notes you have for me. Why should I share the notes I have for you?
Yeah, you're right, Baka. Yep.
Bet.
All right. Well, that's what I had. Joe, do you have anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, I think quite honestly, hey, it's a preference how much because you mentioned, hey, should I change my name? Should I or shouldn't I do this? And Nyansa had a really good point that if you are an influencer of any kind, or if you plan on being somebody who people are going to attach themselves to or whatever, then then you might want to have a name that you stick with, because if you change it, then you will lose followers. It'll mess with your search engine optimization, all that kind of stuff. So oh, you sent it? That's not so many notes, goofball. Anyway. Well, I'll send you the notes I have at some point. Either way, whatever. I don't know. How complicated do you want your life to be?
Not complicated, if I could, please. Thank you.
I mean, seriously, I've been told over and over and over again that I suck at naming things. And so, like, apparently I'm not good at it anyway. And so why should I come up with a bunch of different names for myself? The name I have, the name I have on all my gaming, Pleb Nub, that was given to me by my kids. And it's because I don't really care. Like, I'm just like, you know what? I don't even want to have to think about that. I got enough other things to think about than my name. And so, like, my name is my name, and that's fine. Whatever.
Yeah, easy peasy. Yeah,
and if I go and try and change it,
the sound that I go by. For me, like, yeah, my name's Ryan. And for me, when growing up, I was like, do I like that name? And I'm like, I can't really fathom liking or unliking it. It's just a sound to me. It's just a sound. That's all it is. It's just a sound that people know me by.
But what it represents is one of the most beautiful people I've ever met in my entire life, which is Ryan.
Wow. Thank you, Joe. That
Mm,
was beautiful.
it was,
You're
wasn't it?
beautiful.
I am, aren't
Yeah.
I?
Yeah. Uh-huh,
Beauty is in
absolutely.
the eye of the beer holder.
That's right. And the more beauty, the more beer. And the more beer, the more beauty.
Oh my.
Confucian.
Okay, so at any rate, yeah, hopefully that made some sense. I don't think I have a whole lot else to say except for just that, like if you feel like it's something you should be doing, it's neither here nor there to be quite honest, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Awesome.
do it or don't do it. I don't but just
I think it
understand,
doesn't make a
like
big
if
difference
it
in the
if it
grand scheme, but keep your relationships good. And
mhm.
so just ask them so that your relationship can be good rather than letting it get destroyed over something as silly as a name.
But here's something to consider. If it annoys you to any degree that people do this from time to time, I don't know. I know it can be frustrating. You were talking about some of the frustrations of dealing with it. Why would you want to impute that frustration onto somebody?
Mm-hmm. Right.
If it's something like I would never, ever, ever tell somebody to get mismatched silverware in their silverware drawer in their house, ever. Because I wouldn't want that either. I don't have very many pet peeves, but that's one of them. Silverware
Mm.
that doesn't match and doesn't stack. It's got to stack nicely in the silverware drawer and it's got to match, right? Like that's like it's weird.
I, where I am right now, I have literally, I think, 2 spoons and 2 forks, and I don't think they match. But because it's only two, it's like two of each. Doesn't really stack or do anything, anyways.
Yeah. And to be honest, a lot of this silverware I use these days is plastic.
Oh, do you wash them or do you throw them away?
I throw them away, man.
Oh man, you should melt them down and carve a statue of a chicken
I should
eating
light them
a
on fire and stand
cockroach.
over it and inhale the black smoke that comes off of the fire.
Yeah, that's one way to get superpowers.
I have chopsticks too. I do have chopsticks, but you know what? I
Yeah,
can't get a
chopsticks are great.
spoonful of butter with chopsticks.
You can get a chopsticks full of butter with.
Sell my used plastic forks. Oh, there's an idea. I could totally do
Mm,
that.
yeah.
No, isn't it more expensive? Yeah, but I don't eat enough food that requires silverware to I don't know. You would understand if you understood my entire living situation, but I'm not going to go into that all right now. So,
Fair enough.
sell them to the recycling place. Put it on the BSS shop. I'm getting oh my gosh, I'm getting all these suggestions on what to do with my used
Mm-hmm.
plastic silverware. You guys are so awesome. Um, I don't know. Hey, whatever. I do what I gotta, right? But
Mm-hmm.
anyway, how did we get off onto this tangent? Oh, I mentioned silverware. Because the
Yeah.
point is complication, right? The point is, like what and if something annoys you, then don't do it,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
right? Like that's the one thing. But we're good at that. We human beings, we're so good at that. I see people will accuse other people of doing the very thing that they do all the time.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
We do that. It's crazy.
Yep.
But like if there's something that somebody's doing that really bugs me, you know, like riding my butt in traffic while they're driving a pickup truck,
Mm-hmm.
then I don't ride people's butts in traffic and I don't drive a pickup truck, you know?
Right.
And I try my best to not do that, right?
Hate trucks. Yeah.
Me too. Ah. Mhm.
Yeah.
All of them. All of them.
Mhm.
I always look over at them when they're passing me or when I'm passing them, either way, and
Mhm.
I always like glare at them, but they can't see me because they're up too high.
That's right. That's great.
But anyway, yeah. So I would say, hey, stick with what you got, man. Stick with what you're doing. It'll make things for me. It makes things simpler to just be Joe, right? I mean, I'm Joe. That's how I've been known since fifth grade when I decided I wanted to be Joe instead of Joey. Now my
Mhm.
brother still calls me Joey, and his kids still call me Joey, and so I'm
Uncle
Uncle
Joey.
Joey. And yeah, and so my sister-in-law, she calls me Joey. But yeah, other than that, pretty much everybody calls me Joe. There are a couple other people that I knew from elementary school that still call me Joey. But yeah, whatever. It's what it is, right? And you are right. So when I even when I
Baka,
went by
that's
other
right.
names, I still introduced myself as Joe. And so I was just like, well, whatever. I guess people know me as Joe, and I'll just be Joe, whatever.
Mhm.
You know.
Yeah.
So that's fine. That's
Mhm.
fine.
Yep.
So I don't know. That's all I have.
Cool.
You have
Thanks.
anything else?
That's great. I don't have anything else. That's an interesting topic, and I hope you enjoyed the random history lesson I gave. That had a little bit to do with the topic, but yeah. Thanks for the deep dive on names and online changing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Baka, or sorry, not Baka. Saule, you're awesome. And Baka, you are also awesome, just regardless of the topic. So yeah, anyways, thank you. Thank you for letting us cover it. Thank you for asking and for
Mm-hmm.
being a part of it as well. Thank you
Yeah,
for everybody
absolutely.
else who wrote in replies as well. Great. You guys have a lot of good things to say. So it is wow. It is 11:57 a.m. for me, which means it's 8:57 p.m. for Joe. No,
Mm-hmm.
not wow. I did that wrong. Is that right? That's not right.
It's 9:57.
It's 9:57 p.m. for Joe, which
Yeah.
means we end the show in 3 minutes. Three
Yeah.
minutes. Wow, I can't do math right now. 3 minutes.
Time zone.
So
Time zone.
yeah. Anyone got
Eastern
a 3 minute
Standard.
topic for us? No. Yeah. Thank you.
The stream will
Same
explode
time
in
zone
three
here.
minutes. Yes, it will. And
Oh,
us
watch out.
along with it.
I
But
think
we'll
I'm
be
going
back
to leave.
next week.
Oh, okay, good. All right. Just you will be back next week, but it will be our explodedness.
Mm-hmm.
It'll just be our cool. That'll be a fun show. What time is it down under? It's 11:58 a.m. right now. So I just woke up not too long ago.
But you look good.
Oh, I like to hear in detail the both of your life stories in 3 minutes. Okay, yeah. Um,
I was born.
well, that'll be
Here I
easy for me.
am. I've been 29 the whole
Yeah,
time.
great. Mine's shorter because I haven't been 20. It's like the same, but without the 29 part. So it's a little shorter.
The
The
BSS
BSS lore.
lore.
Oh man. Dang,
There's
that's
so
crazy,
much
Joe.
BSS lore to get into. Oh man, man, oh man, oh man.
Mhm.
And
It
one of these
is a
days,
lot.
I'll divulge what I'm discovering to be my life purpose. But I will tell
Mm.
you, you should all be very afraid.
Oh, dang. Joe gonna mess you up. Great.
Yeah, that's the deep dive at the end of my therapy relationship I'm having with my therapist.
Oh, that's great.
Is the life purpose question.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like noticing things and I'm like, "Oh, uh-oh, the world, people around me should be afraid."
Ooh, that's great. I'm excited for that.
Mhm.
That's awesome. I'll have to talk to you about that. That sounds really cool. Holy
What makes you
moly.
think I'm going to tell
Yeah.
you? You're only one of my best friends.
Well, that's why you won't tell me.
Oh, that's right. See, yeah, I can't share this stuff with the people closest to me, right? Yeah,
Yeah, right,
or else
right.
they're just gonna make
Yeah.
fun of me.
That's why I'm going to buy an investigator. Because I'm sure you'll tell the investigator. You just won't tell me.
That's
So
right. That's right. That's
easy.
right.
I just have to hire one. Boom, all the answers.
I'll say it in some kind of cryptic way on Don't Worry Wednesday, and you'll have to decipher it.
Oh man. Oh man.
There are those in the chat that will get it.
Oh man.
Maybe you will too.
Wow. This show's getting. Hey guys, stay tuned for the next couple of episodes where Joe cryptically unveils his
Wait, cats, you get it? I haven't even said anything, and you get it?
Oh my gosh. Sorry your power's out, man, Ghost. Hopefully it returns soon. Glad your internet works.
Yeah, yeah.
Nice.
And I'm sorry, it's weird, like how power can go out like that.
I know the Joe Flow.
The Jow Flow.
Jow Flow. The Jojo. Jojo.
You're so awesome.
Awesome. Well, we ran the 3 minutes and it's now been 4 minutes. Thank you, everybody, for joining us on Don't Worry Wednesday, the show where we talk about whatever topics are on your mind, including apparently this one, which was, I'm pretty sure, not on your mind, but it was a side rail. So, the bombs. Joe didn't put the bombs in the Starbucks girl's bag. Come on. Or did he?
Or
Anyways,
did I?
Stay tuned for next time where we might discuss that, but probably not because we'll forget. All right. Well, thank you so much for a great Don't Worry Wednesday, everybody. We love you all, and we're happy that you guys got to be here with us. We're happy that we get to be here with you guys, and that you guys are a part of our every week, along with this show. You guys are awesome.
You are awesome. Yes. And Kendra, you are awesome.
Kendra, you're awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being so awesome. Thanks for being here with us. Bye-bye, guys.
Love you guys.
Hope you have an awesome week.
We'll see you next time.
All right. See you. Bye.
We're
Peace.
going to sit here and wave.
All right. Well, we can wave as long as we need to, Joe.
We need to make it. We need to go till 10:30 waving.
All right. Either that or 2,000 viewers.
2,000? Another 2,000?
We'll stop waving once we get. Yeah, we'll just change the title to the video. We'll stop waving once we have 2,000 viewers. Until then, we will remain waving. Eventually, it'll catch on, and we'll get there.
It will. It'll be amazing, though.
Yep. That's extra long.
We're gonna be extra boring, right? This is just what's gonna happen. But eventually, somebody's gonna hit the button. Do you have your hand on the button? No, I have my hand on the button.
It's not me. I'm not in control here.
Part of my life purpose is to have my hand on the button.
Oh, that's intense, man. Oh my.
All right, we go now. Bye-bye. Love you guys.
Bye-bye. Peace.